Namaskaram. Good evening, dear viewers. Hope you are all doing fine. I am Brahmando Pratap Barua. Welcome you all at today's Buddhist discussion program of Nalanda Online TV. It is my pride and honor to be the host of today's discussion program. Today, we have a very interesting topic, the concept of physical heaven and hell on Buddha's teaching. I think every religion has heaven and hell concept. Those who have gone through Buddhist scriptures, Buddhist stories, must have heard about Buddha going to Tavatimsa heaven to teach Abhidhamma to his mother. You have also known about Nanda, who was Buddha's cousin. Buddha took him to heaven to show heavenly deities, beauty of heavenly deities, only because he had so much craving for physical beauty. Also, Buddha's cousin Devadatta had to go to Avicii hell because he had encountered so many unwholesome karmas. We also have heard about many sutras where Buddha gave sermons to supernatural beings and deities like Mangala Sutta, Mahasamaya Sutta, etc. But today, we are going to explore what the reality is. Some people say heaven and hell is just here. The person who is suffering at the street for food and in winter, probably encountering the hellish feelings. And some who is enjoying lavish life and luxurious life, probably enjoying the heavenly feelings. So today we are going to explore that. Is there a physical heaven or hell, or they're just metaphor? We have two wonderful guests from Malaysia and Sri Lanka. Although they never been to heaven and hell in person, but they will discuss with us from Buddha's teaching and scriptures. I take the privilege and honor to introduce Dr. Lai Ket Yang from Malaysia. He is the Secretary General of World Alliance of Buddhists, Senior Director of United Nations Peacekeeping Forces Council, Diplomatic and Foreign Affairs, Senior Director of ASEAN, Association of Buddhist Tour Operators, Director General of Organization for Peace and Development. He is an advisor of Nexus International Organization. And by profession, he is a senior avionics engineer. He already worked for Malaysian Airlines and Emirates Airlines. Welcome to our show, sir.
Namaste. Thank you
Namaste,
very
sir.
much,
Namaste.
Brother Pratap
Namaste.
Barua, and
Thank
also our joint speaker, Brother Professor Dr. Samantha.
So today, yes, I'm just going to introduce him. May I take the pride to introduce Dr. Samantha Rajapaksha from Mahidol University, Thailand.
Yeah,
He's
thank you very
from
much.
He's from International PhD Program in Buddhist Studies, Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, of course, Department of Humanities. Dr. Rajapaksha is an expert and has tremendous skill in Theravada Pali manuscript, Pali traditions, Pali textual criticism, Pali primary text, and its classical commentaries. Welcome to our show, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good evening, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. So today, my first question goes to Dr. Lai Ket Yang. Sir, does the Buddha say about physical heaven and hell?
Yes, thank you, Brother Pratap Barua, for the introduction, and thank you for having me on your show. Yeah, and back to the question. Yeah, indeed, the Lord Buddha preached extensively about the heaven and hell realms. In just the 18th volume of the Tripitaka scriptures or the Pali Canon, the statements about hell realms was mentioned 46 times, and that of heavens 70. About the hell realms, it was mentioned in the Tripitaka 46 times, and that of heavens 75 times. Now, in fact, in the Dhammacakappa Vattana Sutta, which was the first sermon of the Lord Buddha after attaining enlightenment, there was mention of the different levels of heaven realms. Yeah, in the early Buddhist scriptures, the Buddha himself was described as having gone to the heavens and meeting with celestial beings. Yeah, the scriptures also quoted instances of devas and celestial beings descending down to earth to listen and seeking guidance and witness some momentous event in the life of the Buddha. So yes, indeed, the Buddha taught and also taught extensively about heaven and also the hell realms. And like earlier introduction, right? We can see that all the scriptures along many scriptures describing about hell and heavens and preaching to the humans as well as devas. Back to you, brother.
So we have heard that Buddha went to heaven, Tavatimsa heaven, to teach Abhidhamma to his mother. It came to Buddhist scriptures many times in many ways. And we also have heard that Buddha's cousin Nanda, who was so much concerned, so much, he had so much craving for beauty of women, and he was missing his wife when he was in monastic order. So Buddha took him to heaven to show heavenly beauties and deities. Can you say something about all these things? Are this metaphor or really Buddha took him to physical heaven?
It did during the Buddha's time, right? The Lord Buddha himself visited Tawatimsa heaven to preach to the mother during the rains retreat of 3 months, right? And at the end of 3 months, right, when the Lord Buddha descended from the Tawatimsa heaven, right, there was a lot of devas and also a lot of celestial beings, right, happily sending off the Lord Buddha. And during that time, the Buddha opened up the three celestials, what we call the heaven, the earth, and hell. That means to say, those who are in the heaven, they can see earth as well as hell. And those who are in hell, when they look up, they are able to see earth as well as heaven. So that has been mentioned in the Buddhist scriptures, yeah. And that day is called Pawarana Day, which is the end, celebrating the end of retreats, and also the day when the Lord Buddha descended from the Tawatimsa heaven. That is not a metaphor. Those are actually in the scriptures.
That goes about heaven. Tell us something about the hell mentioned in Buddhist scriptures, in Buddha's teachings.
Yes, of course. Now, there are many instances where the Lord Buddha mentioned about the hell realms, right? And there's not only one hell realms. There are many hell realms, right? The only thing is that we are not able to visit them as a physical human being. But the Lord Buddha did mention that the way to visit hell, right, is there are two ways. Either you did a lot of bad deeds and then after you die, right, your resolution makes you to be reborn in such a unhappiness place, right? Or you can actually
Well,
meditate
sir, sir,
to a high
sir,
level.
when we say Buddha's Dharma is Sanditiko, you can see it, Sanditiko, you can see it just now. Buddha's Dharma is well expounded and Sandatiko. We say Sandatiko Akaliko. So Sandatiko means you can see the Dhamma, you can feel the Dhamma right now at this moment. So if you can feel the Dhamma right now and at this moment, why can't you see the heaven and hell at this moment? Can you explain us?
Yes, of course. Now, when the Lord Buddha mentioned about seeing, right, the Lord Buddha did not mention that seeing is just seeing through our naked eyes. Yeah. Now, seeing means you can see from your naked eyes, or you can see through what you call as the third eye, or the inner peace. Right. When you meditate,
Yes.
you close your eyes. Right. You don't use your eyes to see, but when you attain a certain level, when the mind is really still, right, you are able to experience and see various phenomena, right? That is actually seeing. So what the Buddha is correct in saying that Dharma is all seeing, right? So the Lord Buddha wants us to experience ourselves, right? Not just to listen to the Dharma and take it for granted. That is
So
one
you are
very good thing
talking
about Buddhism.
you are talking from traditional point of view. What if someone doesn't believe you or someone doesn't want to believe us from intellectual point of view? Can you prove that there is physical heaven or hell?
Definitely, right? That is why the Lord Buddha say, do not just listen to me and take it for granted. Find out for yourself. Right now, if everyone were to meditate and are able to really still their mind, they will experience wonders. They will see for themselves the Buddha Dharma.
Yeah. Yes, Buddha said, Ehipachiko upanaiko, you come and see, and also said, Pachatam vinuyiti, that means this Dhamma is practiced by noble people. So if noble people of today wants to practice the Dhamma, if noble people of today wants to believe there is physical heaven or hell, so how can they believe it today? Not from traditional point of view, but from intellectual point of view. I want to
This
hear something different from intellectual point of view. Can you say us?
yeah, this is not the traditional point of view, or the because in science they have made various attempts to prove the existence of heaven and hell, yeah, but to no success, yeah. But the only way, as per the scriptures, what the Buddha say is that, right, if you practice, right, if you follow the Buddha Dharma, you are able to reach a point where you have all this knowledge, right? The Buddha did not know about heaven and hell before enlightenment, right? But once he attained enlightenment, right, all the answers came from within, right? Wisdom arises, right? And not only that he gained supreme knowledge to the point that he is able to visit heaven and hell at any time he wants. So whatever said and done, right? If someone want to prove for themselves that heaven and hell is not a metaphor, it is real, right? Then the only way is either he pass away, and then that will be too late, right? If he has some bad karma, he'll be reborn in the various bad realms. If he has more than sufficient karma, he will be reborn in the heavenly realms, right? Now that is what the Buddha says, right? That is one way. The second way is right now in our material world, right? If someone wants to visit heaven and hell, someone want to prove the existence of heaven and hell, he actually can. All you need to do is be still, meditate until a point where the answers will come to you, right? That is what the Buddha says.
Thank you, Dr. Lai Ket Young, for your wonderful answer. Now, I would like to ask Dr. Samantha Rajapaksha, who is from Mahidol University. Sir, could you please share your opinion about the existence of physical heaven and hell?
Yeah, thank you for having me on your show. Like, first of all, that the idea of this, the word itself, like the hell and the hell concept that we have borrowed from Christianity in the first place. So there is a problem that whether exactly these terms convey the sense of Buddhistic idea, as Buddhism has a sort of different interpretation on this each realm. So in the first place, I don't like to call this as a hell or heaven in terms of Buddhism. The problem is this Abrahamic religion, uh, like Christianity and Islam, they have this the monotheistic idea that there is a supreme creator, and then also they have this concept that the everlasting heaven or the everlasting hell. But in terms of Buddhism,
Sir, may I interrupt you just
yeah,
for a second? Even in Buddhism, if we find Mahasamaya Sutra, we can find that
yeah,
Buddha gives sermons to devas, to brahmas, to celestial beings,
exactly, yeah,
which cannot be denied.
yeah,
So when you say the concept is from Abrahamic, how can you both relate at the same time?
yeah. Just a moment. I will come to that. The different layers of realms that has been explained in the source material in Buddhist texts, like that. I will come in a later. That I wanted to first of all to be clear that whether the Christianity or the idea of this hell and heaven, which has been explained in other religion, whether they carry the exact meaning or the Buddhistic idea of the realm of heaven and hell. So, in the first place, we need to find out the exact Buddhist terms that have been explained in source material. For example, you will find in the early text we call Mula text, where you have this the common phrase te kayasa beda parang marana apayan duggating vinipatang nirayang upapanna. So there you have this the exact term apayang duggating vinipatang nirayang. These are like synonyms for the realm of misery or the realm of deprivation. So that can be used as a sort of bad destination rather than hell. So when you say hell, there is a sort of contradiction between the interreligious ideas. So when you say the heaven sphere, that itself has a Buddhist explanation, like Sugating Saggang Lokang Upapanna. Sugating Saggang Lokang can be translated as a sort of good destination where the human or the beings pass away and they get reborn in this the realm of heaven or the good destination. The other aspect is that the physicality itself, because we know that the Manusaloka or the world that we are living and the Tirachana or the animal realms are sort of physicality. There is a physicality. They are tangible. So they are concrete, right? So, but we don't know, as you question, the other realms, like for example, the Niraya, the Devaloka, and now in Buddhism, they have like three realms of existence. One is Kamaloka, and the other one is Kamaloka is can be translated as the sensuous world, and then you have Rupa Loka, and then you have Arupa Loka. So this we call Tiloka in Pali, or Trilokya, right? So the question is, just because we cannot see them, just because we cannot perceive them, that does not mean that they are not in existence. For example, we can take a good analogy, like for example, in astrophysics, that you have this Hubble space orbiting around, and now Hubble space is discovered so many distant galaxies that previously the human naked eye could not observe that. That being said, that just because we are ordinary human being, we are being blocked by certain the thoughts, or the immoral thoughts, but the advanced or the learned spiritual person like Buddha himself and some of his leading disciples were able to observe using Dibba Chakku in these different realms of existence. Like in Buddhism, we have like 31 realms of existence that have been, Buddha knew this all system, and Buddha knew this, the beings being born, get reborn, and they just get pass away. But because of this, the ability, the ability to see that in those realms. So having been said that one, you can say that there is a sort of Buddhism, like the text basically explain this psychological realm and the physical realm. The psychological realm or the physical realm is the existence of different realms of existence, from the realm of the Kamaloka and the sensuous world, and the Rupaloka and the Arupaloka. So this can be identified as a Buddhist cosmology or the Buddhist geography in the universe. And also, apart from that, we have this psychology of, like the psychology of this different realm. For example, you can behave like animal, right? And then you are the representation, you are a manifestation of Tirachana, and you can behave as a god or deva, and you are a manifestation of deva in the next life. And then this good analogy or the good explanation given in, there is one of the sutta called Kukkuravatika Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, where there is a case study. There were two companions. One is Senior and the other one is Punna. They both followed sort of strange asceticism. The Senior was following Kukkuravata, that is dog's duties. In other words, Senior was sort of behaved like a dog and acted like a dog and ate like a dog, and then like growling, barking, things like that. And then you have this Punna. Punna was one of his friends, and he acted as a ox. And then his mentality, he developed the ox mentality in his asceticism. So the idea is that they knew that these are sort of hard things to do. So they knew that soon after their death, they will get reborn in Devaloka, or the realm of heaven, or the realm of the realm upper level than the human world. So they put this question, they asked this question from Buddha, whether we are doing the exact correct thing. So the Buddha kept silent for 3 times. Now this is a sort of typical way of in Buddhism, like Buddha knew the answer, that but he doesn't want to give the answer knowing the unpleasant or the disappointing reply. And eventually Buddha say that if you behave like a dog and if you develop the dog's mind, and definitely your next life will be a dog's life. And then again to Punna, and Buddha say that if you behave like an ox and if you practice ox duties in your asceticism, definitely your birth will be among cattle. So this sort of analogy is quite interesting in order to say that there are two realms, that is the psychological realm and the physical realm. The psychological realm is within ourselves, that is we can or we can simulate or we can mimic the hellish lifestyle by like these three elements, like this akusala, like the hatred, delusion, and the greed. So these akusalas, if you
Yes,
have,
something which is not wholesome.
yeah, these are sort of elements that if you are exposed to, or if your actions are guided by these the roots of akusala, then definitely you will suffer, or you will have a sort of hellish life, or the misery of the misery or
Yes.
the suffering status, because it is a hellish status in your psychology. And that being said, you can develop the opposite, like the non-greed or the non-hatred and non-delusion, which are like the opposite or the good qualities, which can lead to the opposite. That is, you can become a sort of deva, and then you can become a brahma, and this different level of existence. The thing is that when you develop these the opposite qualities, definitely it can be assured that you will have a good life within your psychology, not only in this life, but also it uh, most most often you can get a good life after your death. And the other aspect, when it comes to this physicality itself, like Buddha never say that Buddha's aim was not um, to be born in heaven or the Devaloka or Brahmaloka, because Buddha knew that that is not the answer for the escape of samsara. So what he wanted to practice, or what he wanted to uh, fundamentally wanted to escape from this samsara, of course he escaped, and then he wanted to convince other that this is something you are not expecting. This is not your goal to be born in the heaven or to be born in the human world. So your aim must be to get rid of this samsara, to escape this cycle of samsara, which has no beginning and there will be no ending if you don't strive. So that is the fundamental aspect of the Buddhist way of, that is the finally the nibbana, which is called the unconditioned or the deconditioned status. So the other aspect, now this the Western the idea of this the hell man the hell and the heaven is that uh, it fits to the Buddhist interpretation of Kamaloka. So within Kamaloka, you have this the hell and heaven, because this Kamaloka is a representation of different layers. Now I will come in a minute to that, this explanation of this Kamaloka, but basically these two spheres or these two realms uh, does fit into the realm of Kamaloka, that in Buddhism, which talks as one of the realms, and then you have another realm above that is called Rupaloka, and which is basically like you know, this the jhanic absorption, the first absorption and the second absorption, and then you develop this jhanic absorption, and then you get reborn in this rupa loka, and then you have the top of the Buddhist explanation of realm, that is arupa loka, that I will come in like a few minutes to explain in detail the layers of these realms.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your nice explanation about different spheres of heaven, Rupaloka and Arupaloka. So I would now go to Dr. Lai Ket Young. Sir, my question for you, how do Buddhist scriptures describe about the concept of physical heaven and hell?
It was very interesting statements from Dr. Samantha. Yeah,
Yes.
and actually, cosmology is a part of the knowledge which the Lord Buddha discovered after attaining enlightenment. The Buddha arose in the world as a result of self-training over the course of innumerable lifetimes, and consequently had a complete knowledge about the nature of things, animate and inanimate in this world, the arising and decay of the world, cosmology, and the origin of all things. Now, normal human beings, I think that is impossible to have such a supreme knowledge, right? Now, the concept of physical heavens and hell in accordance to the Theravada Buddhist scriptures, yeah. Now, like what Dr. Samantha has earlier mentioned, right? It is the same in all Buddhism. Only thing is that it depends on the author of the author, and it may be called slightly differently depending on the scriptures. Right now, from what my master taught us, which is an adaptation from the Tripitaka, right? Which is there are six. First of all, the structure of heavens. There are 6 levels of sensuous heaven, right? Like Dr. Samantha already mentioned. Right now, this what sensual heavens? This sensual plane contains the realms of beings whose mind are still attached to sensual pleasure. That's why we call it sensuous heaven. Yeah. Now the heaven realms are a celestial place, right? Sometimes you call it heaven, right? Like Dr. Samantha was saying that in Buddhism it may not be called heavens, right? But then when you call it a realms or a place, people will not understand, right? Because of the Abrahamic phrases like heaven and hell, yeah, like what people are used to. So let us stick to the phrase heavens for now, right? So these heavens or this place are occupied by devas and celestial beings. They are self-radiance, right? As a result of meritorious deeds brought over from their past lives, right? Now, I like to mention about 6 levels of sensuous heaven, right? Level 1, right, is Chatu Maharajika heaven. Can you please put up the pictures about heaven first? First of all, the heavens, the structures, the various level. Programmer, can you please put it up on the screen? The one about level 1, we have Chatu Maharajika heaven. Okay, anyway, now the 6 sensual realms or 6 sensual heaven are level 1, which is the between the foot of the Mount Sumeru to the shoulder of Mount Sumeru. That part is called the Chatumaharajika heaven. This is the first level of heaven and is located from the shoulder to the foot of Mount Sumeru. It is the home of several deities and devas, including earth spirit, tree spirits, and air spirits. This heaven includes 4 major areas, of which are full of pleasant places with scented lotus ponds, flower gardens, and fruit groves. Yeah. Now, the 4 areas are ruled by 4 kings. They are kings also, right? Those occupying this realm are celestial musicians, sorcerers, augurs, garudas, and nagas. Right? I think a lot of people have heard about the Himapan Golden Forest. Right? The Himapan Golden Forest is located in this realm, the Chatumaharajika heaven. Right? And the occupants of this Himapan forest are creatures like nagas, garudas, heraldic lions, and also special type of elephants, birds, fishes, and you have a lot of celestial fruits as well, right? The lifetime in this level or the level 1 of heavens in Chatumaharajika is 500 years, comparable to the lifespan on earth. Yeah, that is level 1. Level 2 of the central plane is the Tawatimsa heaven. This is way above the Mount Sumeru. Yeah, and it is a vast realms surrounded by crystal mansions and walls with 1,000 crystal gates. At the center of Tawatimsa is a castle called Vijayanta, decorated with 7 types of gemstones. It belongs to King Saka or King Indra. A lot of people call it King Indra. Some people call it. Some scriptures say it's King Saka.
Can you give us some reference of the book you are using when you are explaining all? Yeah.
Yes.
Can you give us primary source? Can you give us primary source from Sutra? We know that always primary sources are from Sutra. So can you give us?
What I mentioned is not hearsay. It's all from the scriptures. Yeah. So this itself can be found in the Tripitaka. Yeah. And also
which sutra explains about these houses and gemstones and all these heavens? Which sutra? Can you please mention for our viewers, listeners? They would like to know.
At the end of this, I will give you the
sure, sir. Please continue.
Scriptures and also this. Sir. Yeah. Now on the level 2, that's why I wanted you to show the pictures about the different levels of heaven, the one with Sumeru, and then I put there Tawatimsa and all. Can you please show to the screen for our viewers to see, so that they have more ideas of what I'm saying while I'm explaining. Yeah. Can the programmer please put it up? I think it's the second or the third pictures. No, this is hell. Yeah, the one about heaven. Yeah, that's a correct one. So
yes.
So as you can see, at the center of it is lower down is Mount Sumeru. Yeah, which is what has been described in the Tripitaka. Yeah, the Buddha has mentioned a lot about Mount Sumeru, and also when we talk about Chatumaharajika heaven, which is the first level. Yeah, you can see that it is at the foot hill of Mount Sumeru to the shoulder. Yeah, and then as we go one step further, one step above, like, which is the Tawatimsa heaven. Yeah. Now this Tawatimsa heaven, like I say, right, is ruled by King Indra. Yeah, and who are these residents here? They are those who has attained the lower stages of Buddhist sainthood. Right? which is sometimes we call it first absorption or once returner. In Pali, we call it the Sakadagami, yeah, and Sotapanna, the stream enterers. Some books say you can meditate until you are the stream enterers or the Sotapanna, yeah, as well as those who have attained the inner peace, right? Once you come to that stages, right, you meditate until you are able to attain a certain level of peace, right? After you pass away, you are assured of a place at least in this happier realms, right? Now the lifespan of this Tawatimsa heaven is 1,000 years, comparable to beings on earth. Yeah. Now, as we go up another on the third level, which is the Yama heaven or the Yama realms. This heaven is located above the second level of heavens, and unlike the lower two level of heavens, Yama heaven has no solid ground. Yeah, no solid ground. It is located in a place beyond the lights, the light of the sun and the moon. Celestial beings there can see things by the radiance emanating from their own bodies, because these beings, how bright they are, what kind of radiance that they have depends on the amount of merits that they have accrued during their lifetime on earth. Yeah. So the lifespan in this Rama realms are 2,000 years. 2,000 years. Right? On earth, we have an average lifespan of maybe about 75, 80. Right? Some people live to 90. Right? But in the Yama heavens, the lifespan of beings, celestial beings over there is 2,000 years. Right? And the fourth level, which is the Tusita heaven. Right? Now, this heaven has got a king also. It's ruled by King Santa Tusita. Inhabitants here are those who resolve to attain enlightenment. Right? They have made a resolution for themselves, and they have pursued perfections lifetime after lifetime, right? And they have made a resolution that they wanted to be reborn in the Tusita heavens. Yeah. So, why do they choose Tusita heaven? It's because it serves as a resting place on their way to enlightenment. Right? These beings, since they are very holy, and they have done a lot of good deeds, yeah? So they are graceful, blessed and cheerful in Dharma. They live in magnificent heavenly mansions. The future Buddha is believed to be residing in this realm as well. Right? Now, the inhabitants of the Tusita heavens are endowed with generosity, and once they, you see, the lifespan here is 4,000 years. That is why now, as you go further up on the realms of existence, that the lifespan become more and more, right? So you can see that from 500 it manifests to 1,000, then 2,000, and then on the fourth level to Sita heaven, like the lifespan is 4,000. Right? For those who wanted to go for enlightenment, they don't want to go further up in the heaven. Why? Because the lifespan is too long. They don't want to wait so long. Right? So as a transit point, they prefer to be into Sita heavens, and then when they come down to be reborn, they accumulate more merits until they achieve their ultimate goal of enlightenment. The fifth level is the Nimanarati heaven. This fifth level of heaven is ruled by King Sunimita. Yeah, celestial beings here are able to conjure anything they wish. Right? Psychologically, for example, I wish to have a heavenly mango. Yeah, the mangoes will just come to them. Right? This they can conjure up anything that they want. You see, each of these levels of heaven, the happiness are different. Right? Although in these celestial beings in these various level of heaven, they also have sufferings. They also have suffering. They are not they have not eradicated all attachment yet. Yeah, that's why these are called the sensuous realms. Okay. Now, as you go up, right, they have more and more happiness. Right? These beings have got more pleasures and more happiness in these realms as compared to Earth. Yeah. Now, the lifespan is 16,000. Is 8,000 years. 8,000 years as comparable to beings on Earth. And then we come to the sixth level of heaven, which is known as the Paranimita Vasavasati heaven. Right now, this sixth level of heaven is the highest of the sensual realm and also the largest. Right? Celestial beings on this level get whatever they want through having conjured up by other angels. They have a lot of angels, or actually angels is not is also a Abrahamic terms. It's not a terms used by Buddhism, right? But let us describe that the celestial beings there as angels. Yeah, you have those beings there. If you have a lot of merits, you are born there. You have a lot of heavenly servants as well, right? So in all these realms, you can see that it depends from one another. The status is just like an Earth, right? Some people own Mercedes, big houses, some small houses, right? Now over in heaven, it's the same thing. Right? You have a lot of merits, like yourself illuminating, your radiance is brighter than others. Right? You have bigger mansion than others, and then your servants, you have more servants than others as well. Right? Now the life in this sixth level of heaven is 16,000 years as comparable to Earth. Right? Now the other top layers is what the Dr. Samantha has explained as Arupachana and also the form or formless Brahma realms. Yeah, these realms are higher, and these realms are for those while they are on Earth, right? They already achieve absorptions. They meditate and they already achieve absorption, right? On the way to enlightenment, right? So when they die, when they pass away, they are reborn in this higher realm. These are non-sensuous realms. They nearly finish.
In order to go or visit this heaven, one has to encounter or have the feelings of stream enterer or once returner, non-returner like this, or even without being stream enterer, one can visit the heaven.
Yes. Again, there are two ways. One is that you accumulate more and more merits. You meditate until you have attained the absorptions, right, or jhana, yeah. And after you pass away, right, I'm sure you are with all your good merits, right, you'll be reborn in one of these happiness realm. Right? Now, the other way is again through meditation. Right? If you meditate, you're really still, right? And it's not what you call it's not a metaphor or it's not hearsay, right?
So do you think stream enterer? Do you think stream enterer or once returner or non-returner would like to go to heaven, or rather he would just stay here and finish his karma and go for the fourth one, like to be an arahant?
You see, if you want to visit these heavens, yeah, if you're already a Sotapanna, right, or stream enterers, right, or those who have already meditated until they gain absorptions, yeah, they can visit anytime, right? Not only going to visit heaven and hell, yeah, they can visit hell as well, yeah. Right? So you are right.
Have to die. Right. They don't have to die, right? They will visit in this physical body. they don't have to die in order to visit
Correct.
heaven or hell. So they can
Correct.
visit within this physical body, right? You want to
That
say
is
that?
correct. That is correct.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now the human beings who have attained form absorption, rupachana, will be reborn in the form plane, and the form plane are divided into again 16 levels. Right? These are very high up, and then we come to the formless Brahma realms. Right?
Brahma.
Formless
Yes.
Brahma is more beautiful and self-luminous than the form Brahma. They are born in formless because they have attained formless absorptions. Yeah, this is very high level of absorptions in meditation. Lifespan in these Brahma realms
Arupa
is
Arupa Brahma. Arupa Brahma. Arupa Brahma.
oh, yeah, this is between. I'm talking about this Brahma realms, which is above the sensuous realm. This is the
Yes.
non-sensuous
Yes.
realms. Yeah, the
Yes. No
lifespan
sensual
here,
pleasure. Right.
yeah, it's very long, very long. It's 1/8 to 16 world cycles. World cycles mean one world cycles means just like our world, right? Like the Buddha say our world can last for 5,000 years. Right? We are already halfway through, 2,500 years. Right? Now, at the end of 5,000 years, the whole world will be destroyed. Then after that, you'll be reborn again, another world. Right? You take 1/8 to 16 world cycles. That is the lifespan in the Brahma realms. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Back to you, brother.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Laiket. I was just sharing to you with a lot of wonder, so I just. Anyways, my question goes to Dr. Samantha Rajapaksha. Sir, how does the Theravada community understand the concept of physical hell and heaven? Could you please explain from traditional and intellectual both perspectives?
Yeah, like before I go into the to answer this question, I must point out a couple of points related to our previous speaker, that this like there are some not just one place, there are a few places where you have this the beings of the devas or the brahmas, they got visited the Buddha. You know this the first sutta, Dhammacakkappavattana sutta, where that Buddha delivered, and this when the five disciples they the first disciple, the Kondanya, Arhat, and then the idea that the other beings, the devas, they got visited, like Brahma and all these devas. And there is another thing in other places, like for example, like after 12 midnight, there is a specific time that Buddha has his routine that has been allocated mainly for the purpose of the celestial beings. So they get the Buddha got those questions from those the celestial bodies. So that means it's very much part of this Buddhist source material, that where we find there are so many occurrences, like you have this Vimanavattu and Petavattu text, where you have this the explanation of various stories, especially this Arhat Moggallana, and he got visited like some of these realms, and then
Yes.
started to observe all these realms, and then
Hmm.
subsequently what he did was like he started to preach the ordinary people, and there was a sort of a huge attraction from the people of that time. And this was a problem to some other contemporary religious sect, mainly Jainism, because they thought that if the flow goes in this way, that they lose some of their followers, so they got scared, and then ultimately now in Attakatha you have this story of like the Moggallana, the Arhat Moggallana was killed by the plan, which is the device or the plan by this some of the Jain followers. So that being said, I like to go to the question that you have put to me. Basically, the early Buddhist text, as I said, like primary texts or the Mula text and its classical commentaries are mainly the source of this scheme of the different realms that Buddhism discusses. Mainly, like we have there is no like specific place to put all these pit all these things to one scheme, but there are so many isolated cases where you can collect them and put and sort of develop a sort of neat scheme of the different realms of existence. For example, it is a it can we can call as a Buddhist cosmology. Like in one term is in the higher realms are quite symmetric and highly organized, but when you go down below, it's sort of asymmetric and sort of chaotic. So, being said that one, I will basically tell you, according to the source material, there are triloka or tiloka in Pali. We have three realms of existence. So I think our previous speaker that spoke some of the realms of this world, and then the first world is we call Kamaloka. The Kamaloka is a sensuous world that is within the sphere of senses that we can touch, we can feel, and all these. It is within the sphere of senses. So that is called Kamaloka. That goes from Niraya up to the Paranimmita Vasavarti. Now, Paranimmita Vasavarti is the top realm or the Devaloka, and then you have the down below the Niraya, or you can call it as Avici. So the Niraya also has a sort of different layers. You have like 8 major hell starting from Sanjiva to Avici. Avici is the lowest realm of Niraya. So the Apaya, and then this the Avici is believed to be the where the Devadatta has been suffering for one kalpa there. So then when you go up further, and then you find like the other realms, like you have below Manussaloka, you have this Asura and Peta and Tirachana. So these are like below Manussaloka or the below human world. We call that the plane of misery, or that is full of pain and suffering. So the idea that these beings, they get reborn in these realms is that they have this the roots causes is the greed, hatred, and delusion. So these are the primary when they do action, when their actions are guided by these three unwholesome elements, then they have the realm of suffering. And then you have this Manussaloka is a quite special one.
Dr. Rajapaksha, when you say the realm of suffering, I would like to ask you one question. You are saying the Tirachana means the 4 level means Asura, Preta, Tiryaka, and Niraya are the realm of suffering. But as a human being, we are also suffering. Even in Devaloka, they are also suffering. So
No,
even being as deities or supernatural beings, Dr. Laiket said the lifespan of Brahma is like more than trillion years in human countings. So having been born in a Brahman realm and living like trillion years is also kind of suffering, as long as you can have the feelings of nibbana. So what do you say about that?
yeah, the thing that we have to be very clear that above the human world we call Devaloka and the Brahma Loka, we don't see any sort of suffering or pain. So that we call is full of pleasure or the pleasure
No,
filled
their
world.
suffering, their suffering is different. Their suffering is different. When a supernatural being is coming down from Devaloka, his dress becomes dirty, his flower garland becomes rotten. So that's a kind of
Yeah,
suffering too.
yeah,
Too much pleasure is also kind of suffering. What do you think
yeah,
about that?
that can be said so, but overall, the classification of this Buddhist scheme is a sort of the below Manusya Loka is identified as a place where suffering is the beings experience suffering, and the Manusya Loka is a balance that Manusya Loka has both suffering and the pleasure. And then when you go up further, and then the primary characteristics of that their world is they go through this pleasure field, the rejoicement, so they have this sort of the idea of suffering is they are no longer experienced in their world, even though the fact that they are being subject to this being in samsara, uh, but relatively their lifespan is quite larger or quite big
Hmm.
than the human
Big. Too
lifespan.
big.
So
Hmm.
the point is like when you go further up, my point is the human world is the ideal because human can understand and comprehend the nature of suffering and the nature of happiness. So they have this balance, what you call the happiness and the suffering. So that is why they can understand, they realize the true nature of the universal the phenomenon. But when you go down, you don't have that feeling because you are the beings are suffering all the time. And when you go up, the situation is bit they are happy in their entire life, even though they experience sort of the disappearance or the chuti. At that moment they experience sort of the characteristics of their departure, but
Hmm.
overall their life is full of happiness, full of pleasure. So that is the point that I want to highlight. And then you have this has up to Paranimita Vasavatti. So as I said,
Hmm.
the ladder or the layer begins from the Niraya to Paranimita Vasavatti, and the human world is like in between. And then the fuel source that they enjoy, this one is a quite opposite elements that we have I have pointed out as the non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. All these are the driving factor or the fuel source of their stay in their realm. And this, then you have
So you want to point out that the person who would be non-returner. Say there's a person who is a non-returner, and he doesn't want to be one of the being of Akasanantanayatana, or the place where there is no physical body. Only jhana is there, and their lifespan is trillion years. Or rather, he would just love to stay here and finish his journey, being born in Akashanantanayatana or Vijnanantanayatana or whatever you say, the supreme, the top level of the space. What do you say? What he
Yeah,
would
like,
choose?
yeah,
I mean,
let's
if he's not too much concerned about life, the pleasure of life, or not too much attached, so why he would go there? He would rather stay here, right?
yeah, the point is like we have this the idea that in Buddhism, in Buddhist texts, like when you have Sotapanna, so he doesn't go to the realm of suffering, and the non-returner or Anagami, they get reborn in Suddhavasa. Suddhavasa is
Yeah. So
a
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Why
yeah.
he has to go to Suddhavasa? He would rather come here and finish his journey. That's the end. I mean,
No,
why he would choose Suddhavasa?
no,
Because Suddhavasa is the lifespan of Suddhavasa is also trillion and trillion years. Why he would
yeah.
choose to go there?
Yeah, the thing is like it is the one level before the enlightenment or to become an arahant. So once he gets reborn in the human world, like he does experience the suffering again. So, usually the text explain that he has a sort of last bit of before the last level, so that he gets reborn. That person gets reborn in the Suddhavasa, where is one of the Brahma realms. So
Brahmalam. Yeah.
you have this
Arupa Brahmalam.
five Suddha
Yeah.
called Pancha Suddhavasa. There you have
Mhm.
five Brahma spheres, and they get reborn, and they sort of they stay there couple of their lifespan, but still they go out of sansar, or they go out of existence from Suddhavasa. So that is a sort of
But the
in our
word samsara, the word samsara is so vast. Even Suddhavasa is a part of samsara,
yeah,
because samsara is a
even
big term.
even Suddhavasa, they are like even more levels that's what I am coming now. There are more level that you have to go up than going down, because now in when you choose this the Rupa Loka, so the Arupa, sorry, the Rupa Loka, where you have this. Now, as I said, the Niraya, starting from the level 1 to level 11, there you have the Paranimita Vasavakti is a part of this sensuous, the Kama Loka. And then you have this Rupa Loka, where you have this Brahma Parisajya to Akanitta. That is a part of Brahma Loka. And this,
Brahmaloka.
especially the those who develop the the first absorption and the second absorption and the third absorption, they get reborn this realm, like in this Arupa Loka, and they sorry this Rupa Loka, of starting from Brahma Parisajya to Akanitta. And then you have this sort of the last bit of that. What I am saying, the sansara is a sort of uh, is a quite vast property, is a huge universe, so that unimaginably huge the area. So the Arupa Loka, you have this Akasananchayatana, and the last one is the Neva Sanyana Sanyayatana. So you know this the last realm, that is the Arupa Loka, where the especially the beings who are highly developed, who are developing highly meditative attainment, they get reborn in this realm of Arupa Loka. Mainly there are four levels in the Akasananchayatana to Neva Sanjana Sanyayatana. Now, you know the story of this the Buddha before the Gautama Buddha, like before he became a Buddha, he was searching for, he was looking for some exploring some methods in order to look to obtain the awakening. And then he went to this Alara Kalama. That Alara Kalama is like he's a sort of his first meditative master. From him he learned Akinchanyayatana, the sphere of nothingness. And then Buddha attained this, like Bodhisattva attained this jhana, and then he went to Ramaputta. Ramaputta is like Ramaputta is the son of Rama, but his name is Uddaka. But the Ramaputta, being father, he obtained the jhana, and he but the Ramaputra taught Buddha the Neva Sanya Na Sanya. So that is the top of the list. That means that is the end of this, the Buddhist realm of existence. In other words, like when you envision this, the entire property or the entire Buddhist cosmology, that starting from Niraya and then up to Manusya Loka, and then you have this Deva Loka, and then from Deva Loka to you have this sort of Arupa Loka to level, and then the Neva Sanya Na Sanya, that is the sort of the ultimate destiny according to this Buddhist text. But that being said, that has this realm has relatively sort of long span of time period where they live as eons, or usually the Buddhist term use kalpa, or in Sanskrit kalpa. Kalpa is a eon. You can translate as a eon. So here, another characteristic that in the Kama Loka is that there is one person who is acting as a sort of overlord. So that person is called Mara. Mara is acting as an overlord, where his domain is Kamaloka. So he's basically that he's not a like evil person, but he's a tempter. Sort of he like everybody to be within his realm of samsara. So if somebody tries to escape from samsara, he gets irritated and then annoyed, and then what happened, he is trying to do his the things that he can do to keep his customers or the beings within his sphere of the Kamaloka. And there is a debate whether the Mara's domination is prevalent even to the Brahmaloka, because there is this story in the text that the Buddha visited Brahma named Baka, and then the thing Buddha wanted to explain to him that he fallen into wrong view, that because of this extremely time of this expansion of this time, the Baka thought that there is a sort of immortality, or the things are everlasting. So sort of similar to this other faith of religion, like for example the related to other faith. So in that case, Buddha wanted to clear that even though Neva Sanya Na Sanya, the top level in the Buddhist universe or the Buddhist cosmology, even that is within the realm of samsara. That means it is also within the idea of condition, subject to change. Even when they have a sort of their considerable period of time, and then they get reborn in the lower realm. So this sort of things that ultimately Buddha wanted to find out the awakening, that is that he wants to get rid of the whole cycle of samsara, to get rid of or to escape from this cycle of samsara. So that is why even Buddha left from Uddaka or the Ramaputra, even though that is considered as the top existence of when you study the geography of the Buddhist cosmology. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Samantha Rajapaksha. So my third question to Dr. Laiket is how do the concept of physical hell and heaven play a role in human life?
Before I come to the third question, I'd like to give a little bit of my opinion regarding your questions to Professor Dr. Samantha about the stream enterers or the someone who has attained full absorption, and why do they want to be reborn in the formless or the form Brahma realms. This is because in the law of karma, the law of karma is a very complex issue and phenomena. You don't get to choose. One thing is that you don't get to choose. Even for us human, when you pass away, where you are going to be reborn depends on a lot of factors. So one thing is you don't get to choose. Another thing is that why do they put Sotapanna and also those who has attained full absorption in the higher realms? Now, there is a reason for it too. This is because how long does it take for the Buddha to gain enlightenment? It takes eons, many lifetimes, born and die, many lifetimes before you are able to attain enlightenment. This is the same. This is the same. It doesn't mean that there is a shortcut to enlightenment. There is no shortcut to enlightenment. You have to pursue your own perfections until such a time that you have overflowing merits so much so that you are ready for enlightenment. Okay. Now back to the third question. The Buddha taught us to believe in the existence of this world and the next. Or to put it another way, that death is not the end of the story. This also attests to the fact that good deeds and bad deeds do not end with this world, but carry forward to affect the perpetrator in the afterlife. Because why are there so many in earth? There are so many people who committed suicide. It's because people don't believe in the existence of afterlife. They thought that I have so many problems. I'm affected by so many problems, so many issues. I end my life and finish up. I don't want to suffer anymore. That is not the end. They forgot that there is an afterlife. Once you end your life, if you are reborn in the hell realms or something, there are continuous suffering, much worse than hell on earth. Now the concept of physical hell and heaven in Buddhism usually denotes the realms where a sinful or virtuous person will be reborn after death. In summary, we can say that physical hell and heaven concept in Buddhism have significance as a factor of karma and our rebirth. So understanding the concept of Buddhist cosmology is very important to prevent recklessness, as the human realm is the only realms or the only plane of reality where decent and indecent deeds can be accumulated. This is the only, as human, you can accumulate a lot of merits, do a lot of perfections, so that you gain more and more merits, ready for afterlife. It's just like a bank account. Like in our world, it's a bank account. You work hard. Why? Why do we have to go to work? Because you need the money. Right? Your money in the bank account. Right? In this material world, you still need money. But in the afterlife, you don't need money. You need merits. Right? Now, so since our time on earth is very short, it's only what some people died 30 young, 50 years, right? Average 80 years at the most, right? So you need to practice a lot of good deeds, do a lot of charity, keep your precepts, practice meditation on a daily basis, so that you have sufficient merits, right, to support you for your afterlife, to be reborn in a state of happiness after we die, right? So this is a very important point why we should understand the Buddhist cosmology, why the Buddha taught about hell, about heaven, right? It's not to scare people, those who, oh, okay, you do a lot of bad deeds, after you die, you go to hell. It's not like that. Hell is continuous suffering, right? If you look into the Buddhist text, right? Now, most of the world population do not believe in hereafter, right? So the attempts to prove the existence of hereafter by scientific means cannot be successful, right? The only method is to practice meditation to such an elevated level that one attains a celestial eye, right? The celestial eye allows the practitioners to witness the round of rebirth of different beings within different realms of reality, right? Like what we have, your question, Mr. Pratap Barua earlier on, right? How to visit while we are a human. You can, right? You meditate until you attain the celestial eye, right? You actually can. And what the Buddha statement is that seeing doesn't mean just to see by your naked eyes. Yeah, you see through your celestial eye as well. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Laiket. We are having some problems, some internet problems. So very sorry for the inconvenience. My last questions to Dr. Rajapaksha. How does Buddhist concept of karma interact or encounter with the notion of physical heaven and hell?
Yeah, that's the functionality of the karma is quite one of the central concept in Buddhism. Like you could find so many sources, the material where the Buddha explains the various levels, how at which the beings experience the karma, or the result of the karma, basically the retribution. So when basically the generality is that when your actions are guided by greed, and then when your actions are guided by hatred, and also when your actions are guided by delusion, definitely there will be some the result of bad, uh, uh, the result of bads being accumulated. So that being said, that usually, like when you put this into context, into this the planes of existence, you will see that there are the beings get reborn because of these the three elements. So it is avoidable. And then when you get into the point where you cannot avoid, like for example, if you the being gets born in the tirachana or the animal realms, they cannot, like they cannot avoid this situation because they are working instinctively. So they are basically the tirachana or the animal realms. They are action guided by delusion, because they are acting instinctively. So they have no this sort of the control over their actions, just like the human beings that we have. So that is why the human realm or the human world is so unique and distinctive. The fact that we are always, we can avoid this, the greed can be replaced with non-greed, and the hatred or the anger and the jealousy that you can overcome by skillful meanings. So if you control your emotions skillfully, definitely you will experience the good side of it. So the delusion is also that in Buddhist text, that you have this yata bhuta jnana, or the idea of you have this idea of seeing things as it is. Like, for example,
Yata bhuta yana dassana.
yeah, yata bhuta jnana dassana. So the idea is that when you see things are arising and the things exist for some time, and then things cease at some point, dissolve. So this is a sort of the reality of this can be applied to the every real situation. So that is a sort of, you are awakening, you are knowing things as it is. So by like, the idea is that when you practice non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion, then there is a sugati, so the good destination. And but when you practice the opposite, that is or the when your actions are guided by greed, hatred, and delusion, and definitely you can experience sort of duggati, or the plane of misery. So that is why
Buddha already said, muncha pure muncha passato majja muncha vavasu paragu sabbatta bimutta manasa na puna jati jarang upohisi, which
right.
explains itself. Yeah.
Okay, the idea is that when you have a good rebirth, like as I said in the beginning of the talk, the idea is that we have our psychology, and within psychology we have the realm of suffering and the realm of happiness. So that can be created within our psychology, and that is also the other the guiding factors are, as I said, the greed, hatred, and delusion. Then these are sort of not assured. Like in some cases, as I said, samsara is a sort of, there is no beginning, right? So we don't now we are sort of result of our karma. So we don't know what kind of existence we had in the previous birth, and there were so many previous births. So the account is like, you have full of this bad and good, the result. So that is why even though there is a possibility that if you live a good life in this life, you may have a bad life in the next life, because given the fact that your account is full of bad the result. So vice versa, like when you have a good life, also relatively you can have a good life by changing your behavior, by doing something good, by being generous, by being kind, gentle. So you can have a sort of deva life within this life, even in the next life. And the other point, in Buddhist texts, there is a specific explanation that there is an assurance given to the functionality of karma. For example, these are identified as 5 heinous crimes or 5 heinous misdeeds. For example, if you kill your mother and if you kill your father, and the person like if person kills an arahant, or the person is managed to wound Buddha, or even like this is not for the ordinary people, but if a monks manage to create schism within monastic order, these are considered as an assurance or the assured destination. Like, for example, no matter what you do after that heinous act, definitely your next destination is in the Niraya or the Duggati.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that is the like assured destination. But for the other acts of things is quite unpredictable, because the functionality of karma works so complicated, because the previous actions, the result of actions also will come to you, and they will sort of serve as the deciding factor in the next life. Now there is a sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya that is called Chula Kamma Vibhanga Sutta, which is very interesting, because now in this sutta, there was a young Brahmin called Subha. Subha is the son of Todeya Put, or his father is Todeya. And then when his father passed away, that he got visited the Buddha, and then he had this question, why some people like passed away prematurely, or the idea of the mainly the primary idea of why there is a difference between among humanity. There are some long-lived people, and there are some short-lived people, and things like that. And the Buddha explained, like it is a like a sort of complete um, um, scheme of karma functionality in Buddhist sources. Even the commentary has given sort of the explanation, this karma, how that works, quite fascinatingly. So the idea is that when you kill a living being, right? Now there is, as I said, there are some heinous crime, like when you kill your father intentionally. Now this is very important in Buddhism. Intentional action matters, right? Intentional. Now we call it Chetanaham Bhikkhave Kammang Vadami. That is, the karma is mainly the intentional, purposeful. Not that the things which happen without intention, because there are some action, they have no intention. So, but here the primary thing is intentional action. So being said that one, apart from this assured the crimes like killing father, killing mother, and then definitely you will have a sort of next life in the Niraya, or the lower realms. Now, good example, I think in the beginning you have pointed out the Buddha's cousin Devadatta managed to now he was trying to kill Buddha for several times, but he failed. But over the course of time, he managed to wound the Buddha. So that was one of the heinous crimes, or explained in Buddhist texts. And also, second time, he managed to create schism among Sangha, or the monastic order. So now the texts say that like soon he coming to his passing away, but the earth cracked, the earth opened, and then straight away he fell into the Avicii. Avicii is the lowest realm of Apaya. I mean, there are 8 major hells. So the Avicii is considered as the lowest, which literally mean uninterrupted. The suffering you go through, the tormentation or the pain you go through Avicii is uninterruptedly. So that is a good case study that we can point out. But this Chullakamma Vibhanga or the Chullakamma Vibhanga Sutta is a quite interesting in terms of like you have this idea. Some people, even though they don't kill, they live good life. They are generous, but still they they live halfway, like they pass away prematurely. So the reason is you have to remember that we are not in this life now, but we are wandering in this sansara for quite some time. So there is, I mean, is a beginningless. We don't know the beginning point. So during that journey, we have accumulated both kusala and akusala. So that means that sometimes the people passed away prematurely because of this the involvement of the previous karma. So that is a sort of like you have this, even though Buddha said this contrasting affairs, that if you kill animal or a living being intentionally, definitely you will go to duggati, niraya, or apaya, or in case because of your previous involvement of your previous kusala karma, you will get reborn here in this manusaloka, because you are supposed to go to the realm of niraya or the realm of the lower realm, but because your previous accumulation of good karma, you are getting reborn in this human world, but still you are living as a human being. Perhaps you may end your life like in 20s, 30s, or 40s. The explanation could be perhaps at some point that person may have killed living beings. So the contrasting point is that if you are generous, and if you are being kind, being dayanukampi, or that you are thinking of other people, and still you are supposed to born in the realm of sugati, but you are getting reborn here in this manusaloka because of the involvement of this previous karma. So the karma is not just like what we are accumulating now, but it's it's a process. It is a storage of merits and demerits. So it comes and it waits an opportunity to give it to you. It could be good or it could be bad. So the idea is like some people short-lived and some people long-lived can be explained because of this the functionality of the karma. And also there is another aspect that some people are getting sick and they are healthy in their entire life, and also they are being like they are harming, they are doing harm to other living beings, and they are treating harshly to other living beings. So they get reborn as a sort of healthy sick people. And that's why you see there are so many people, even though they are living on medicine, they are like they are not leading a good healthy life because of this the functionality of karma. So I think this Chullakama Vibhanga, I mainly the explanation of its commentary is quite fascinating to understand why living beings are, some are short lived and why some living beings are long lived.
Thank you, Dr. Samantha Rajapaksha. We're almost at the end of our show. Respected speakers, I'm very sorry. In fact, we are very sorry today because We are running out of time, and we are almost at the end of our interview program. Maybe we shall continue our discussion on same topic some other day. I must say, today we had a very nice discussion, and we learned a lot about the concept of physical heaven and hell. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Laiket Young for giving us his valuable time, and Dr. Samantha Rajapaksha from Mahidol University for being with us in spite of his busy schedule. Thank you very much once again for your nice participation. Also, my thanks goes to our respected viewers of Nalanda Online TV. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Venerable Dipananda, owner of Nalanda Online TV, and Dr. Sanjay Barua from USA. We shall come back soon with some other interesting topics and renowned scholar. Till then, please take care and all the best. Namaskaram.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.